Freedom Weight Loss, the weight reduction program that allows you to enjoy food even more than before while you shed pounds. Carlos Canale, MD, a board-certified gastroenterologist practicing in California, has discovered that losing weight and keeping it down does not need to be a continuous torture, since there are wonderful principles that will help you to lose weight and maintain optimal health while you become free from obesity, extreme diets, and disease. Now let's listen to Dr. Canale as he teaches how to lose weight with freedom.
We have learned how much to eat and also how to eat. Now we need to consider when to eat. Meal timing is important to lose weight the natural way, as we're going to see. But first, we should learn when not to eat, and that is between meals. So, do not eat between meals. That means no food, no snacks, no candy, no fruit, not even a bite, and no beverages except water. That is, do not eat anything between meals. Water is all that is allowed. Some people have trouble with this because they are used to snacking constantly, but it can be done, and if one is persistent, after some time the new habit is established and there is no desire to eat between meals. And yes, drink plenty of water. This will help when you feel hungry before mealtime and will also make it easier for you not to drink beverages with your meals. Now, how much time should pass between meals? The answer is at least 5 hours. You can go 5, 6 or maybe 7 hours without eating, and that is also fine, but 5 hours is the least amount of time necessary for good digestion and to let the stomach rest. That is, 5 hours from the time you end one meal until the time you start the next. This may seem difficult, but it becomes easier if you drink water. Water is one of the natural elements that we use to lose weight. You may feel hungry 2 or 3 hours after a meal and tempted to snack. It is very likely that you are not really hungry but thirsty, and drinking water will keep you satisfied until it is time to eat again. Then, when mealtime arrives, you won't be thirsty and you'll be able to eat without drinking any water or beverages with your meals. Now, going back to eating between meals, you should not eat between meals and you should not drink anything except water. Now, if you are going to break this rule and still want to lose weight, you could snack on carrot sticks, celery sticks, but without peanut butter or dips, because peanut butter and dips have plenty of calories and you will gain weight. Then, if you decide to snack anyway, use natural fruits and vegetables, like an apple or an orange. If you are going to break the rule of not eating between meals, you should at least avoid all those high-calorie snacks and snack only on fruits or vegetables. But I don't suggest that you snack at all, because the stomach needs to rest. Then it is clear when not to eat. What about when to eat? Experiments done with cows and also in humans have demonstrated that it is best to eat a big breakfast. They had taken a number of cows and given them one meal a day. Then they separated them in two groups. One group of cows received the meal at breakfast time and the other at supper time. The same meal for both groups of cows. The only difference being that one group had their meal in the morning and the other in the evening. The results were amazing. The group of cows that was fed in the morning actually lost weight, but the group that received the meal at supper time gained weight. So, eating the same amount of food, cows can gain weight if they eat late and lose weight if they eat early. You may say, well, I am not a cow, and you're right. But as we said, experiments done on humans have yielded similar results. So, by changing your schedule and eating early, not late, you can lose weight. Remember this. We must eat breakfast as a king, lunch as a queen, and supper as a pauper. Or have only fresh fruit for supper. You can also have 2 meals a day, a heavier meal in the morning and only fruit in the afternoon, and you will lose even more pounds. I will now tell you how I lost 25 pounds, but first I will give you a little background. Before I lost 25 pounds, my weight was 169 pounds, being 5 foot, almost 6 feet tall. That means I was not grossly overweight. I cannot even say I was even a little bit overweight, but I didn't want to weigh that much. Let us remember that those 25 pounds represented 13% of my body weight. That means if I would have weighed 300 pounds, I would have lost 40 pounds. And most likely more, because it is a lot easier to lose weight when you weigh 300 pounds than when you weigh 169. That is because the body has a tendency to retain fat when there is little of it. And when there is gross overweight or obesity, the body can more easily get rid of it. When I was 16 years old, I weighed 144 pounds. A young person is usually more active and has a higher metabolism. That makes it easier for people in their teens to maintain a low weight than for people in their 40s or older. When I was 26, I had already gained 10 pounds since age 16, about 1 pound a year, and weighed about 154 pounds. At that time, for health reasons and other reasons, I gave up most sugar and animal products. But I still would drink soda and have ice cream, not regularly, but often enough. I stopped drinking water with meals at age 26 and stopped eating between meals. That helped me keep my weight down for many years. I would never rise over 160 pounds, but as years went by, I became gradually more difficult to keep from gaining weight, and that was compensated by giving up all candy. And later, about 10 years ago, I also gave up ice cream. Here is why I gave up ice cream. I noticed that after eating ice cream, I would always get a headache, so I decided, this is something I cannot have. But I was not thinking of weight control when I gave up ice cream, only of avoiding an unpleasant side effect, headaches. Sometime during my 30s or 40s, I set a goal not to go over 160 pounds. So I would check my weight every few weeks or every month, and if I was over that weight, I would change my diet. That is, I just modified my eating habits a little bit. Maybe I would eat a little less for breakfast or supper, and usually my weight would go back down to the acceptable range that I had decided. But I was still eating a heavy supper because I worked all day, like most people do from 9 to 5, and then I would come home hungry and have a heavy supper. But I was still successful in keeping my weight below 160 pounds for several years. However, one time when I was in my late 40s, I went to the scale and realized that I weighed 167 pounds. I didn't think much of it and thought it would be easy to get back to 160 pounds. It is not very hard to lose 7 pounds. In fact, it is better to have to lose 7 pounds than to wait until you weigh 200 and then have to lose 40 pounds, isn't it? So I made some changes in my diet, and after a short time, instead of losing, to my dismay, I weighed 169 pounds. I had gone on a diet and had actually gained weight, not lost it. 169 pounds. Not obese, but much heavier than when I was 16. Even though I was eating much less than then and consuming less calories, I had gained 25 pounds in 35 years. What had happened? This is not strange or uncommon. As we get older, we tend to get fatter because our metabolism decreases steadily and we tend to be less active. And as a result, we gain weight, even though most people in their 40s and 50s don't eat as much as teenagers. I am certain that were I to have continued eating the way I ate when I was 16, I would now weigh probably somewhere between 200 and 240 pounds or more. And that is what happens to most people. We are not careful. We exercise less than when we were young. Our bodies assimilate better, become much more efficient. We eat the same and sometimes more, and what has been the result? The result has been an epidemic of obesity. Now, I have heard stories, and you probably have heard them too, of women who have put on weight with their pregnancies, and they could never lose it. And many blame their pregnancies for their problem with weight. That is not true. Pregnancy does not have any long-range effects on weight. We put on weight gradually as we get older. There may be for some women a sudden change in eating habits and physical activity after childbirth that results in sudden permanent weight gain, because permanent changes in lifestyle can lead to fat accumulation. This may very well be the case, but there is no such thing as inevitable permanent weight gain due to pregnancy. This fatalistic outlook is just not true. Women gain weight during pregnancy, but if after delivery they return to the same habits they had before getting pregnant, they will go back to their initial weight. So, in order to keep slim as age advances, we cannot eat and drink as we did when we were teenagers. That was true with me as well. I was eating less and yet weighing more than when I was 16. Now I will tell you how I lost 25 pounds, to go back to what I weighed when I was 16 years old. That is, from 169 to 144 pounds. And I will clarify that I was not trying to lose weight to that extent. Remember, all I wanted to do is to keep under 160 pounds. But I made those changes because I realized that it was better for my health and my well-being. Yes, after making these changes, I felt better. I had more energy and I slept better at night. I definitely recommend that you do the same. Here is what I did. First of all, I started chewing my food properly and eating slowly. I had never been a fast eater. At home, I was almost always the last to finish a meal, not because I ate more than others, but because I always have been a slow eater. Now I decided to chew each bite very carefully until it became a cream in my mouth, mixed it well with the saliva, and enjoyed before I swallowed it. I also started paying attention to my body, and when it would tell me that I was no longer hungry, I would stop eating. When you are no longer hungry, then it is time to stop. Many times we keep eating because food looks good and is attractive, but we are not really hungry, and then we overeat. Second, I began eating only fruit for supper, nothing else at supper time. So I had breakfast and lunch as before, and then for supper only fruit and nothing else. This is all I did, and I lost 25 pounds down to 144 pounds, which was my weight when I was 16 years old. You must realize that 144 pounds for somebody who is almost 6 feet is very thin. So I started eating a little more. I added sometimes a shake for supper, or maybe some bread with applesauce, something simple. And then I was able to gain 3 or 4 pounds and maintain that weight for a long time. I have consistently been under 150 pounds for 4 years, even though I have not been concerned about how much I weigh. While before I was having a lot of trouble keeping under 160 pounds. This is what I did, and I'm sure that if you do it, you're going to lose weight the natural way. I must confess, however, that to eat only fruit for supper has been one of the most difficult things I have done in my whole life, because when I come home from work, naturally, I'm very hungry. And added to that is the fact that at home everybody is eating, and they're eating delicious, tempting food. My family continued to eat supper the same way that I used to do before I made a change to only fresh fruits. So what could I do? If I sat around while they were eating, especially in the beginning, when I had not yet fully developed the habit, it would have been very hard for me to be able to eat only fruits. So I stayed away from the table. I took my fruit and I went to another room, ate the fruit by myself, and I did not show up around the dining table until all the food had been removed and out of sight. This is the secret. This is very important. If you do not want to overeat, you have to stay away from places where there is the sight or the smell of food. It might be difficult sometimes. I remember an instance when I was at a dinner in honor of one of the physicians in our city. The menu had 3 selections. 2 of them were meat dishes, which I was not interested in, and the other was a wonderful pasta dish. But this was in the evening, around 6 p.m. Many of the doctors, nurses, and other people from the community who knew this physician were there. There must have been around 200 people. And everybody was getting ready to eat, and I had decided I was going to eat only fruit for that supper. I had requested a fruit plate ahead of time. It turned out to be so interesting because the plates were coming, and first people got their steaks, and then other people got their pasta, and finally they brought me this big plate full of all kinds of delicious fruit. People looked at the plate and then looked at me and said, "That is why he's so thin." It was very difficult for me to eat only fruit when people all around me were eating all this delicious food. But if you get used to it and stick to it for some time, your habits will change. And then when supper time comes, you will either have nothing or maybe some fruit. And that will help you lose weight naturally. I know you can do it. Remember the cows. Cows that eat late gain weight. Cows that eat early lose weight. Can we do like them? It is the same with people. Eat early, have a very light supper, and you will also lose weight. Let us review once more when to eat. Number 1, do not eat between meals. The only thing allowed between meals is, yes, water. Second, the time that should elapse between meals should be at least 5 hours. And remember, eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a queen, and supper like a pauper, or ideally only fruit for supper. Now, what everybody wants to know, the diet. That is, what to eat. We learned that we should eat a certain way at a certain time, and we also learned how much we should eat. But what you eat is very important because that has a lot to do with your permanent success in weight reduction. Most diets concentrate mostly on how much one eats, and that is important, but the kind of food is even more important because eating even a little of the wrong kind of food will be fattening, while if we eat the right kind of food, we will lose weight naturally, even though we eat a lot more. Just one example. A recent study revealed that eating the exact same number of calories, a group that ate 16% less of total calories in fat lost an average of 7 pounds more than the other group. So it is evident that the composition of the diet, what one eats, has a lot to do with success in the battle of the bulge, even when eating the same amount of total calories. That goes against the theory that carbohydrates make you gain weight. The group that lost 7 pounds eating less fat took more carbohydrates instead. And that did not cause weight gain, but just the opposite. Having said this, I must also say that not all carbohydrates are good. There are 2 kinds of carbohydrates, simple and complex carbohydrates. Complex carbohydrates, such as that found in whole wheat, potatoes, etc., are very good for health and help lose weight. Simple carbohydrates, as found in fruits, packaged with natural fiber and vitamins, are also good and are not fattening either. However, the same simple carbohydrates, when they are concentrated, such as in sugar, honey, candy, ice cream, etc., are fattening. And complex carbohydrates, such as starch, when they are refined and separated from the other components that come with them in nature, such as in the case of white flour, are also fattening. So, what you eat can make a difference as to whether you lose weight Freedom's way or become one more casualty in the statistics of the obesity epidemic. Remember, you can lose weight without being hungry. Now, some foods are fattening. In fact, most foods people eat in our Western civilization are fattening. But there are other foods that are not. I'm not going to give you recipes here because I'm not a cook. You will probably want some recipes. You will probably want to know what I recommend for breakfast, lunch, and supper. Just remember that everyone is different, and some will need to eat less than others to lose the same amount of weight. But it is obvious that if you are having problems with weight, it's because you are eating more than your body needs. You can find recipes and also some good cookbooks in my website at www.freedomweightloss.com. People ask me, what do you eat? Let me give you an example of a breakfast that I can easily fix myself and enjoy very much, and you don't need to be an accomplished cook to prepare it. Remember that I am not trying to lose weight, so I did not design this breakfast to be low in calories, but to be healthy, satisfying, and easy to make. At the same time, it is not extremely high in calories, considering that breakfast is my main meal of the day. Here is one of my breakfasts. 1 slice of whole wheat bread with soy mayonnaise and a tomato slice. 1 handful of almonds or walnuts. 1 bowl of instant oatmeal with 1 whole banana and raisins or dates. 1 slice of whole wheat toast with peanut butter or almond butter and applesauce. And 1 grapefruit or other fruit. I think this is a big breakfast, fit for a hungry king, and it is about 950 calories. Now, you can reduce calories in this breakfast by leaving out the soy mayonnaise and the slice of toast, the second slice of toast with peanut butter and applesauce, and you still have a great breakfast, fit for a king, that is under 600 calories. Just compare that with a chocolate ice cream bar and a small soda, which add up to 500 calories. You see, this breakfast is satisfying and nourishing, but relatively low in calories, while a chocolate ice cream bar and a soda will not last you long. Plus, they give you no real nutrition. They are high in calories, and a short time after eating them, you will be hungry and will need to eat again. If you want to lose weight and not be hungry at the same time, you will have to eliminate high-calorie, low-satisfaction items such as ice cream from your diet. Being that breakfast is your main meal and that supper will be only fruit, not amounting to more than 300 calories for 3 fruits, if your lunch is about 400 calories, you will have eaten less than 1,300 calories in a day. You will not suffer with hunger because you are following the natural way to lose weight. Now, what about lunch? Let us say that you are not home. You can pack a lunch or go out to eat, but you have to be selective. Some jumbo hamburgers, if eaten with French fries, add up to 1,000 calories or more. There are better choices. For example, a 6-inch Veggie Delight sandwich from Subway has about 250 calories, and that would very much fill you up and satisfy you for lunch if you eat it slowly and chew thoroughly. And if you get carrot sticks and eat them before the sandwich, they will fill you up with very few calories. Actually, half a pound of carrot sticks have only 100 calories. That would be a 350 calorie lunch that is as filling as a big hamburger with fries and a soft drink and having 700 calories less. What I presented is just an example of what I usually eat for breakfast and of a good choice for a lunch on the go. You don't have to follow this menu every day, of course. You can also eat less for breakfast, eliminate lunch, eat breakfast a little later, and have a light supper a little earlier, and you will reduce your calorie intake even more. And when your body gets used to the new schedule, you will not be hungry. What you need to do is to find a sensible plan that you can feel comfortable with and follow it. You do not need to count calories if you eat wholesome and refined food. You must, however, eat a wide variety of food to make sure that you get all your nutrients. plus take a good vitamin supplement every day if you want to be absolutely sure about not lacking in vitamins. Even though with a good plant food diet there is usually no vitamin deficiency. I could give you more examples or make a sample menu for 7 days, but you can find plenty of recipes on my website. In any case, what is really important is to know which foods are fattening and which are not. This is what I will present next, because once you know that, you can make your own menu.
We've reached the end of this segment of Freedom Weight Loss with Carlos Canale, MD. In order to receive all the benefits of the program, you will have to view it more than once, most likely several times, and then continue to watch it periodically. This way, you will grasp the concepts gradually, one by one, at your own rhythm. We hope that you will find in Freedom Weight Loss the best way to lose weight permanently. We wish you success as you advance on the way that leads to health and happiness. Perhaps you feel the need for more help. You can get books, audio or video cassettes, valuable books on nutrition, health, or cookbooks. Or you may be interested in helpful kitchen appliances that will assist you to cook healthfully. You might be looking for an effective and fun way to exercise, like the famous Rebound Air, or you might be looking for healthy recipes or other healthy information. You can find all this and more on Dr. Canale's website, www.freedomweightloss.com, or you can write to Freedom Weight Loss, P.O. Box 550, Denair, California 95316, or call 1-888-463-0264. Thank you, and may your efforts be rewarded with happiness and success.